So you're thinking about making the move to Los Angeles, California? Well, if that's the case, you're going to have to know what the cost of living is here versus where you might be coming from. And today I'm going to share with you some of those costs versus the national averages. So let's get into it right now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, I'm going to welcome you to the community. And if you want the most thorough, deep dive, all things Los Angeles, well, this is the channel that does just that for you. So go ahead right now, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date in the current market here in Los Angeles, California. My name is James, and we get tons of calls or emails every day from people just like you, ready to make a move to Los Angeles, California. We absolutely love it. So if you're ready to make a move to Los Angeles, go ahead right now, shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call, and we got your back when making a smooth move to Los Angeles, California. So let's go ahead right now, let's get into it. Some of the cost of living versus the national averages and some of the costs where you might be coming from as well. So if you're thinking about making a move here to Los Angeles, let's consider first that you make $75,000, and wherever you're coming from, you're going to have to probably make more, unless there's a few cities here in the United States that are a little bit higher, of course, than Los Angeles. So let's take right off the bat, let's take Chicago. If you're coming from Chicago, Illinois, and you're making the move to Los Angeles, you're going to have to make about $87,000 versus the $75,000 you made in Chicago. So that's a little bit higher, not too much, but you're going to have to factor that in. So that's the first example. Let's take Dallas, Texas. If you're coming from Dallas, you're going to have to make a whopping $104,000 when you come here. So your $75,000 is going to equal $104,000 here if you want that same lifestyle. That's a pretty big increment to go from 75 to 104. It's $34,000. And is that 34,000? Well, let's see. No, that's 29,000. So see, I'm already doing bad on the math. So that's still a large difference though. And that's coming from Dallas, Texas. Let's go Atlanta, Georgia. You would have to make a whopping $108,000 from Atlanta to California, Los Angeles, California. That's a pretty big increment as well. You're going to really have to consider either getting a second job or asking the boss for a raise, because that's going to be quite a bit difference in your salary there. Let's take Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is the highest on my list that I've chosen. It is a whopping $113,000 more than you're going to make, that you have to make here in Los Angeles versus Phoenix. So quite considerable difference. You are going to have to really think about making that move beforehand and what you can do to increase your salary, because that is a big shocker. That is the highest on my list. Now let's take Seattle. Seattle is actually more expensive technically than Los Angeles by about $3,000. So you come to Los Angeles and you're going to only have to make $72,000 here versus the 75 there. The Seattle area has obviously been booming for years, and their costs have skyrocketed. So Los Angeles is just a little bit cheaper than the Seattle area. And last but not least on my list is New York City. New York City is extremely expensive, one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive in the nation, probably next to San Francisco. You are only going to have to make about $47,000 here in Los Angeles to have the same lifestyle as in New York. So that is a huge difference going the other way. And obviously there's not many cities like that in the US. So those are just some kind of fun facts considering the cost of living where you are coming from and here in Los Angeles. So overall, Los Angeles is about 43% higher than the national average. So when you factor that in, that's like the housing, utilities, transportation, food, things of that nature. So 43%, that's pretty substantial overall. So let's break it down into a few of these areas here. So You've got housing. Housing is huge. It's the biggest topic on the table here. It's about 127% more here than it is the national average. It's crazy here right now. It's actually pretty ridiculous, the prices here, but that's something to consider. Obviously, first of all, if you can even afford the housing here. But it's about 127%, give or take. Now, I'm focusing mainly on the downtown area and about 15 miles out in the metro area. I'm not really focusing on the suburbs because Los Angeles is such a huge area square footage wise that you're going to get a lot of different numbers if you start getting out too far. So these are within, like I said, about 15 miles of downtown area. So yeah, so housing is about 127% more than the national average. Let's take transportation. Transportation is about 31% more than the national average. And as an example, if you wanted to go ahead and get a monthly pass here for the metro would be about $100 a month, just to give you an idea of how much it would cost you. And that would actually probably save you a little bit of money if you're looking to take a metro here, the train back into the metro train. We have what's called a blue line and a red line. They run all throughout the Los Angeles area. So you might save yourself some money if you're able to live and work near those areas. But it's about $100 total monthly for that. Let's go ahead and take our LA tax rate. So LA tax rate is quite high. In fact, it's at 9.5%. And the national average is right around 7.3, 7.4. So you're going to be paying a sales tax of about 2% higher here in Los Angeles. And if you dollar cost average that over the year and all the things that you buy, that's going to be a lot of money. So factor that into your budget as well. And just realize that the Los Angeles tax rate is 9.5% right now. And I don't know where you're coming from, but I know the national average around 7.3. So that's a pretty big jump there, considering how much things cost here. Now, if you're if you move out to the outskirts into another county around here, you're going to pay probably about 1% less. I know, like in Ventura County to the northwest of Los Angeles County, it's about 8.5%. So and it's right next to Los Angeles County. So if you're looking for that little break, you can get it there. So anyways, let's move on to the next one. So we've got food and groceries, right? So let's go over some items there. So a loaf of bread here. Okay, now depending on different stores, you're gonna go. You've got different stores like Vaughn's, Ralph's, Trader Joe's. Okay, depending on where you go. The average here is about $3.73 for a loaf of bread. Now that's like a white loaf of bread. It's pretty standard. That is quite high. I mean, I think it is. I've seen some other, of course, stores that have some cheaper, but that's the average here is about $3.73 for a loaf of bread. Gallon of milk. Milk is really expensive here. I'm not sure why. We have like 1 million cows here in California, and actually to make bread too, right? So it's just a little under $4 for your average gallon of milk. Depending on how much milk you need or want, that's gonna be a lot of money. So you might want to make your coffees at home. Hey, and if you like what you're seeing here, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment too on maybe something that you'd like for me to cover if I'm not covering it. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications, and also send us an email, give us a call, shoot us a text, and we got your back when making a smooth move to Los Angeles. So let's keep going here, right? With some of the costs here, a dozen large eggs, it's going to be about just under $4 here. That's quite a bit as well. Now, depending if you get organic eggs, organics can be about $5 or $6, depending on the store again. But once again, these are some pretty high costs for the average. And once again, 43% overall difference between where you're coming from and here versus the national average. So let's move on to utilities. Utilities are about like 8 to 10% higher here. Now, that's a very subjective number because obviously depending on how many people you have in the household and how much actual utility usage you're using is going to make a difference as well. But electric, like let's say electric and gas, electric bill is roughly around $180. That's for like a family of 3 or 4, most likely here. That would be using that. And it depends, like I said, winter, summer, depends on how much you're using the air conditioning and how much you're using the heat, if it's gas-fired heat or electric. So all these things are gonna factor in. But $180 is the average here for your electricity bill. Gas, right? So we have some of the highest gas prices here in Los Angeles. So I just filled up my vehicle the other day. I have a big truck. My truck took about $100 worth of gas to fill up on about a 26-gallon tank. And so our average right now is about $4 here. Now, I've seen it over $5, $5.50 in some places. Really depends on where you go. So one of the best things is to get yourself an app and look for the cheapest gas around you, wherever you're driving, because that's what I try to do. And usually it works. And so you might have to drive a few more minutes, but it's very helpful when you're paying $4, and it's ridiculous, right? Because we have tons of oil here. You know, I don't know if you're, you know, an environmentalist or not. I mean, that's really not the point, but we obviously need oil and to turn into gas. If you don't have an electric car, I don't have an electric car right now, so I rely heavily on gas, and I hate paying the high prices here for gas, since we have so much oil, and we drill off the coast here left and right. So hopefully some of these items have been helpful to you, and this way you'll have an idea of some of your costs when making the move here. And if you're looking to make the move here, well, the only way we can help you is if you reach out to us. So go ahead and shoot us a call, send us a text, give us an email, jump on our calendar too. We can go ahead and schedule a call that way as well. And we got your back when making a smooth move to Los Angeles, California. Until the next video, we'll catch you then.